12 Common Car AC Problems and Solutions. Most people are not sure how to diagnose their car's AC problems. There are several reasons why your car's air conditioner may stop working. Here are the most common problems and how they can be fixed by yourself. The air conditioning system is comprised of many components, including a compressor that is driven by the engine, an expansion valve that regulates the flow of refrigerant, and two heat exchangers including the evaporator and condenser. Refrigerant is a fluid that turns into a gas and back to liquid form, flowing throughout the system. Then bunch of sensor and actuators that controls the power and refrigerant flow in the AC refrigerant and electrical electronics circuit. 1. AC blow warm air out of the vents. Most oftentimes, this issue is caused by a refrigerant leak. Your AC components rely heavily on the refrigerant to cool the vehicle. Without sufficient refrigerant, the air conditioning components will be unable to function. However, there are other common problems that often prevent your car AC system from blowing cold, which I will mention shortly. Leak can occur at any time, but most often due to a hole in a connection, or fried O-ring seals or burst hoses. Aside these, other components capable of prevent your car AC from blowing cold is your compressor, condenser, or a ruptured evaporator. Unlike an oil leak, unfortunately, refrigerant leaks are difficult to identify sometimes. This is because refrigerant is invisible. Other reasons why your car AC blows warm air include blown fuse, bad AC clutch, bad AC compressor, BAF relay, electrical issue, etc. Solution: an expert automotive technician will need to add a fluorescent leak tracer dye and refrigerant to the system. Once added, the technician will run the air conditioning and using a blacklight or UV light will be able to identify the leak to begin repairs and finally perform evacuation and recharge to once again blow cold air. Other solutions are dependable on the fines within the AC system electrical electronics. 2. No air coming from the vents. This issue isn't as clear-cut as hot air coming through the vents. A knowledgeable technician will need to eliminate the possible causes by checking several components first. The technician may begin checking for a blown fuse or bad relay. If the ventilation fuse blows, there will be no power to the blower motor preventing air from blowing through the vents. Likewise, a bad relay can also be the culprit since the relay takes the small electrical current and uses it to regulate the larger current needed for ventilation. Damage to the blower motor or blower resistor. The blower motor is what pushes the air through the vents in the car, similar to a fan in your home. Blower motors that have malfunctioned due to wear or age will prevent air from coming through the vents. Similarly, the blower resistor works with the blower motor to control the level of how much air is produced to flow through the vents, low, medium, high, based on your preference. Blocked air intake. Vehicles have two areas where air enters the vehicle. One is where air enters your vehicle through vents by the lower half of the windshield, and the other is the air that is recirculated from inside the cabin. If either of the air intake areas is blocked from a clogged filter or other debris, your vents may blow little to no air. Damaged belts and hoses. The air conditioning system is equipped with many hoses and belts that operate the system. Any sort of leak, detachment, or blockages will prevent proper airflow from the vents. Solution: replace fuses and/or the relay first. If the issue persists, you'll want to visit an expert AC technician to test the other components related to the ventilation system. Repairs or replacement may be required. 3. Air is cooling but does not get colder. Most often this issue is due to low refrigerant. When there is not enough refrigerant in the system, the pressure is reduced, which prevents the clutch from triggering the compressor to begin its cycle. If enough refrigerant is in the system, it could also be caused by blocked or failed condenser. The condenser is the device that takes the refrigerant from its gaseous state by removing the heat and transforming it back into a liquid state. If the condenser has a blockage or is otherwise damaged, the air coming through the vents will not be cold. Failed clutch switch. If this component is not functioning, the AC compressor will be unable to operate, thus preventing it from condensing the liquid refrigerant into gas. Solution: a technician will need to test these major components to look for blockages, damage, or failure and replace them as necessary. 4. AC smells like mildew. When you turn on your air conditioner and noxious smell of mildew hits your nostrils, it's because of the growth of bacteria in the system. This is common with vehicles that seldom use a/c, are older, or that frequently use the maximum setting due to extra moisture in the unit. Bacteria, mold, fungi, and other microorganisms may develop behind the dashboard on the evaporator. This growth produces a foul odor that comes out of the vents. Solution: air filters can collect dirt, water, dust, and other pollutants and after some time producing an odor. Replacing your air filter will help combat this issue. If replacing the filter does not eradicate the stench, a technician will need to add an antibacterial solution into the evaporator area to kill mold and other contaminants from the system. 5. Car AC makes noise when turned on. Anytime your car makes a noise that wasn't there before could be a sign of trouble. Air conditioning systems are relatively quiet when in use. When you turn on your air conditioning and hear rattling, banging, or other unusual sounds, it's normal to feel a bit nervous about what is causing the issue. It could be as simple as leaves or other road debris blocking the unit and producing all sorts of unusual noises. It could also indicate a major component could be in failure. If a bearing is worn out, the air conditioning will produce a grinding or squealing sound. A rattling sound could indicate the compressor's clutch has failed or there is insufficient oil inside the system. Solution: continuing to use your AC may only make things worse. Take your vehicle to a trusted technician for inspection. A thorough inspection will be able to determine if a major component is in failure and whether it will need to be replaced. 6. Water on the floorboards. Bacteria builds up on the air conditioner's evaporator coil in the AC heater box located under your dashboard. The bacteria from airflow mixes with the condensation from the coils, creating a slimy film on the AC fins and producing a moldy smell. After time, the film builds up and can clog the drain line. The drain line is a rubber hose that begins in the evaporator heater box, goes through the floor, and to the undercarriage to remove excess moisture. Once plugged, water from the condensation fills up the heater box and begins dripping out and onto the floor of the vehicle, typically on the passenger side. Solution: if you notice the floor of your vehicle is damp, don't hesitate in getting your vehicle to an automotive center for immediate repair. A technician will need to determine what has caused the drain line to become clogged and repair or replace the hose as necessary. 7. AC blow cold sometimes, then warm. When you're driving and the air suddenly goes from comfortably cool to horribly hot, you know there's a problem. It's possible that the expansion valve that dispenses the correct amount of refrigerant to the evaporator has failed. A blocked expansion valve prevents the refrigerant from reaching the evaporator and, if moisture is present, causing the valve to freeze. Solution: air conditioning should be cold. If it's not, a certified technician will need to properly test the system's pressure and inspect components for blockages or malfunctions. A malfunctioning compressor is most often times the culprit, while sometimes a defective flow sensor or solenoid control valve is the issue. 8. Compressor continues to circle on and off. If your car AC compressor turns on and off, you are probably dealing with a bad, low pressure switch that is defective, system that is overcharged with refrigerant, or a blocked pollen filter that needs a replacement. If all the above mentioned are in good working condition, the blower motor speed should be increased to 3 or half the full speed. 9. Compressor clutch won't engage. When you turn on your car AC system, you expect compressor to kick on, however when the compressor won't kick on, there are lots of reasons why your compressor won't come on, such as no refrigerant in the system, blown fuse that cuts of power going to the AC compressor, bad relay, bad wiring, bad clutch, no power, bad high pressure switch, bad blower resistor, bad AC amplifier system. These are most common reasons why your AC compressor won't engage. 10. AC cools better in higher RPMs and blow warm at stoplight. When you suddenly notice that your car AC no longer blows cold at stoplight, or while at idle, there are certain knowledge you need in order to properly rectify the problem. Solution 1. You need to check and be sure there is sufficient refrigerant in the system. 2. The compressor is failing and need a replacement. 11. AC only blow cold in morning and warm by noon. If your car AC system blows colder during cold ambient temperature, there are a couple of things you need to check. First, the refrigerant quantity, 2, compressor health, and 3rd, defective expansion valve. If the above-mentioned 3 factors are checked correctly, the issue must be within these 3 factors. 12. AC button flashing when AC is turned on. If you turn on your AC system on, and you notice the AC button is flashing, you need to observe it closely. If the flashing continues without stopping, this is either due to a bad AC compressor relay, or a bad AC compressor clutch that is spinning slower than the engine RPMs. However, if it flashes and stop, you may likely be dealing with a bad solenoid control valve in the system that needs replacement. Third, it may be due to a bad AC compressor that is sticky. Now that you know 12 common problems of car AC system and solutions, subscribe to my channel, share this video with others, and give this video a thumbs up is the least of what you can do to show appreciation.